Whatever good things we build end up building us.
Architecture should speak of its time and place, but yearn for timelessness. In 1903, Kalamazoo, Michigan was awarded a new school by the State Board of Education. This school was named Western State Normal School. There was a drastic increase in enrollment in the 1950s and 60s to 10,000 students. This is a great increase from the enrollment number of around 6,000 students in 1957. Because of the increase in enrollment, Western Michigan University devised the 1970 Campus Development Plan. This showed rationale to close off parts of West Michigan Avenue that ran through campus. This allowed for less congestion throughout the university.
The oldest building on Western Michigan University's campus reopened on Friday, October 3rd, 2015. This building is Heritage Hall, located in Kalamazoo, Michigan. The renovation reached LEED Platinum certification. This made Heritage Hall the first certified building in Southwest Michigan. Construction made use of salvage materials and incorporated geothermal heating. The building is heated and cooled using 56 geothermal wells. Each well is 400 feet deep and linked together using 8 miles of tubing. This system results in a building that is about 50% more efficient than a more traditionally heated and cooled building. Heritage Hall faces off a hill onto downtown Kalamazoo. The first president of WMU was Dwight B. Waldo. The university's football field and library bear his name.
Western Michigan University started playing football in 1906. They were originally known as the Hilltoppers. Construction of the football stadium was approved in 1936, even though the country was going through the Great Depression.
In 1958, the Dwight B. Waldo Library was constructed.
Waldo Library has a great assortment of books, magazines, and computers. Later additions were constructed in 1967 and 1991. Sangren Hall is named after the second president of Western Michigan University. Dr. Paul V. Sangren served as president of Western Michigan University for over 20 years.
He served from 1936 to 1960.
Sangren Hall includes lecture halls, classrooms, and even a cafe.
Sangren Hall was finished remodeling in 2012. Sangren Hall has beautiful pillars and utilizes lots of glass windows, and is also roughly 231,296 square feet. Snyder Hall is the home of the Hayworth School of Business. It was completed in 1990. To better explain the evolution of the business buildings at WMU, I interviewed my management professor, Dr. Carey. Hello, Dr. Carey. It is truly an honor and a pleasure to get your opinion on the evolution of WMU's architecture.
Well, Sean, you're one of my survivors that took one of my classes, so obviously you know that I have an ability to expound on topics. I was hired by Dean Arnold Schneider in 1974, August 74, to be an instructor in the Department of Management, and he stepped down as dean. He had to, because he was 65, and state law in 74 stated that when you're 65 you had to step down as an administrator. So he taught management for the next 5 years, and then there was another state law that said professors had to retire at 70, which was later repealed by one of the law professors, Bill Morrison, in the finance commercial law area in the College of Business, because that's age discrimination.
Yeah.
But anyway, I had a great relationship, both as he was my boss and then as a colleague teaching management The second dean was actually the associate dean of Arnold Schneider, was Darrell Jones. And Darrell early raised money from the alumni, those with BBAs, MBAs from the college, and I had an MBA as well, and my doctorate. And they built all with private money, about 7.2, 7.3 million, all from alumni, Fetzer Center, right behind me, which has strong horizontal lines. Because we were on East Campus, and actually my office for 17 and a half years was 169 East Hall, and that no longer exists. Only the center of East Hall is now Heritage Hall for alumni and development. It was a teacher's college in 1903, and then building was built, at least the center, in 1905. The north wing was added later for the track, then auditorium. The southern wing was the president's office. Darrell always felt left out as dean. He was actually one of my good friends and a great advisor to me with my dissertation. We had long talks. Very entrepreneurial. He always claimed he had the best tambourine raising money. He could talk to anybody about giving money. And he was always doing a song and dance with business leaders and alumni. Very, very proficient in raising a lot of capital for the business school. He built the Fetzer Center, totally funded by alumni and capital gift with John E. Fetzer, very big in radio and television. Of course, the World Series trophies over there in the central lobby. Darrell felt left out as a dean, that he was on East Campus, where the majority of the university was really West Campus. Mm-hmm. And now, of course, we've developed the Parkview engineering. Now we have the med school. Now we have 3 off-campus sites. Well, actually 4, 2 in Grand Rapids. So we've kind of morphed, and we keep growing. In '74, we had fewer than 10,000 students. Today we're about 23,000. There were 4 different, I think the first one started either late 40s or early 1950s. That we had a committee that Arnold started about building a building for the business school. But the capital funding from the state never approved it. So over time, there were 4 building committees, and I wound up on the 4th in the later part of the 1980s, and we've got the building. And how that came about is the capital budget from the state of Michigan came in at 12.1 for the building we're in, Schneider Hall, and that'll be a different story. And then we had to raise $5 million on top of that, because the building came in at 19.1, which Darrell Jones was very good at doing, now retired in Denver. And then the Hayworth family, both G.W., Jerry, and Dick, were business grads, and they gave a capital gift of $5 million to do the furnishing. And they even bought the company that made the tables and chairs. And we vetted the top architects, and we had 8, and I think 1 dropped out, so we interviewed 7 rather extensively, and we picked of Ann Arbor, Carl Lukenbach. And Carl, with his own firm, did 6 private buildings at the U of M Business School and a lot of buildings at Cranbrook Academy. Carl has gotten awards for buildings on this campus prior, so we named him as the top person to do the architecture. He got the idea that this ought to look like a business building. And we told Carl, and the university wasn't doing it at the time, we told him we wanted certain things to include a regular roof so snow would come on it. And Carl walked into a meeting with the committee, 1 member from each department, and the dean and associate dean and an advisor and door lead direct to the dean's office and held this up. He said, I got it. We're going to build a business building. The colors are going to be green, gray, and the sconces, door handles, and others will be gold. And he said, I guarantee you, if we make it look like a business building, we'll get less graffiti. And so the building was built by Miller Davis. You can see the colors predominantly in the carpet and walls and tables and then the sconces for lights and the door handles and everything has got that gold treatment, and even the door hinges. He developed solid doors, so if you slam a door next door, you could feel the vibration but not hear it. And all these walls are insulated. A lot of these are steel studs. And we went from 453 gross square feet in north, east, and west hall to 150,000 gross here. But
oh, wow.
Smaller offices.
Was it really congested at East Hall?
Built for a teacher college, so they could have a big classroom, and then you'd have to walk through the classroom to get to 2 offices on one side, and then 2 offices on the other side. They would have a one-way mirror, so I could observe a class as the professor versus student teaching. Okay, and part of East Hall actually was the kindergarten. So we had faculty meetings in the Department of Management in the kindergarten library, and the brass plate was still there until that end of the building.
Do you like the renovations they made to East Hall?
Yeah, now how that happened, the problem with East Hall was really handicap access. We had 11 different heights for stairs, and the building was all really up and down. So the elevator costs are prohibitive. So again, that's why you're back to the original East Hall, the shrunken center, and you don't have the 3 porticos. There was an old tradition at Western that I was involved in. My girlfriend was a student here, and 4 years later became my wife. And you had to take your boyfriend to East Hall portico at midnight, and when you kissed your boyfriend at midnight, you became an official co-ed of Western Michigan. Okay? And there were more police up there at night, and more cars in that parking lot around East Hall. And then there was a lot of graffiti on those columns.
Yeah.
There were 4 columns. You only see one set today, because they were only on about 18 inches of concrete, which started sliding down Prospect Hill. So they rebuilt the centers and lost the other. They had to take them down because of erosion.
In over the 100 years that Western Michigan has been around, the American people have changed. Education has been a key part of this. Knowledge has allowed people to follow their dreams and pursue goals they never thought possible. It's interesting how architecture is the place where science and art collide. I think that Western Michigan University has done a great job in combining these 2 aspects to create a campus that I enjoy being in.
Western Michigan University is a school unlike so many others. There's a community here that totally embraces education, even though a lot of the land is untaxable. Kalamazoo is home to not just Western Michigan University, but Kalamazoo College and KVCC. I hope you enjoyed learning about the place I call home and will look forward to coming back to years after I graduate.